Okay, good evening. Welcome to this regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen for Tuesday, September 17, 2019. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Correspondence. There's nothing.
Well, the correspondence is a letter from Chief.
Oh, that's right, that's
Yep.
right. That's right,
It's the first thing.
yep. So, I do want to call this to your attention. Chief Murphy has, I would say he has elevated the request for a replacement for the tower fire truck at Bethel Volunteer Fire Department. And it would appear that the price tag has been elevated as well from what was presented last budget season. And I think that one was 1.4 million initially. I can't remember.
1.5, it was close to 1.5.
Closer to 1.5?
Yeah.
So he says, in light of recent testing from a third-party vendor, which I believe is the manufacturer, is Sutphen, aerial tower is now on emergency status, emergency-only status. However, so that would argue for some urgency. However, I think it takes, what, 14 to 18 months to build a tower? Is that correct, Tom?
Yeah, at least 10 months, I think. It all depends. I don't know, it all depends on how busy they are.
Yeah.
But somewhere in that area, probably.
Any thoughts or opinions on that at this point?
At this, yeah, I'll speak to it a
Yeah.
little bit. First of all, you know, I think after doing 2 schools and a fire department, police department, we just can't be spending money. You know, that's my concern. I realize this is only 1.7, but you keep on adding all these things up. You know, you can't keep the town affordable. And these are the complaints that I've been getting from a lot of people about this upcoming budget season. It's going to be a very difficult season. You know, we knew that this was happening. We have mutual aid. At this point, I can't afford it, being perfectly honest. What I find difficult to believe is that this cannot be repaired because this is a pneumatic system. And, you know, we have a new chassis there, essentially. Maybe it's already about 10 years old. And, you know, fire trucks, for the most part, we usually get 25 years out of them. Now, I understand this is the original tower. At this point, I don't want to do anything, frankly. I honestly would consider doing a new tower or that part for the truck, but I think that's prohibitive. Sometimes, you know, I've looked at used fire trucks. There's an opportunity there. And they're not that expensive in terms like a new one, but then again, that's the risk you take. But presently, I'm just taking a look at the finances in the town itself and an affordability. I'm just not in a mood to even consider anything at this time. So I'll depend on mutual aid.
All right, I'll make a comment. Matt, can we talk to the Board of Finance to see, you know, we just did that ban, and it was very low interest that we got on that, so there had to be some cost savings in that. So can you contact the Board of Finance and see if there's some way, or if there's some money available towards this truck?
Yes, I can. I was just writing down some options, and thank you for your comments, Paul. Hold on, yeah, finish. So I think we have several courses of action here. To your point, Rich, yes, I can talk to the Board of Finance chair and as well as the comptroller. we are, we're just about done, they're done with the annual audit. But it really very soon, like sometime within the next month, they're going to release the information. We'll know how much surplus we had, like revenue surplus at the end of the year. I know there's a healthy balance there, but I also know that the Board of Finance is planning on, in the next 6 months, paying down another $900,000 worth of short-term debt. But I will have a discussion with the chair, and I'll prepare a report for you guys for the next one. The other things that we can look at, to Paul's point, replace the tower on the current chassis. Option number 2 was examine the possibility of used trucks. Number 3, examine the possibility of a demo truck that might be at significantly lower cost. So they all have pluses and minuses, but
Well, the pluses and minuses, and then with the financing, if there's
yeah.
something available.
Right.
But at the same time too, I've gotta come in defense of Stony Hill here a little bit.
Yeah,
They've been asking for one for 3-4 years, I believe, already.
Yeah, but if they have a truck that's only getting worse every day, so we don't have any, so.
That's the reason why I said
Yeah.
at this point, I'm just uncomfortable about spending anything over $1 million. It's just a situation that I'm hearing from residents saying, hey, there's only so much money in
the world.
yeah,
Yep.
in the till, and knowing what, we're seeing what's happening up in Hartford, they're taking more money out. I know right now, the legislators are looking at whether or not they should rescind some of these taxes that,
Mhm.
but, the darndest thing is, we look at our own personal income taxes, I know I pay more. So,
Well, we can thank Washington DC for that, too.
too. So, the question comes down, what is affordable? And I don't know how, at this point of the game, I don't know how the grand list is, how much has it grown, but we just can't keep on buying.
Mhm.
We've got these buildings, we've got enough debt. And then, like I said, if push comes to shove, I know I've looked at, on the internet about used trucks, you see a 10-year-old truck, I wanna say roughly $400,000.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's maybe not what you want, but it's an aerial,
You can buy.
yeah.
Well, why don't I do
I have
the
one
research?
more question.
Yeah, sure.
And if you can ask the chief, he had proposed, when they were talking about this last budget season, that they had some finance options that you could pay, a third down, third and a third, something like that. What were the finances of the truck? Different methods of financing it through, or paying for it, not
Yeah.
financing. But
Sure.
paying. And actually, I think there was one that it was kind of like lease pay.
Was there?
I think it was, so if you can, he can pull that up for us for
All right.
refresher
Okay,
on it.
all right, we'll do that. Okay, so we'll carry this over to the next agenda,
Okay.
and I'll get that information for you guys. Let's see, that's it for correspondence, right? Just Scott's, all right? Public comments, Tom's here, you're on the agenda. Approval of minutes from the regular meeting of August 20th.
I'll make the motion to approve those minutes of August 20th.
Second.
Okay, this was the big one.
Yep.
Did you spot any errors or anything there?
No.
Neither did I. All right, so if there's no other comments, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, that carries. For Selectmen's report, not too much more to report since last time. It's heavy-duty paving season, we're getting a lot of stuff done, the weather has been good and dry, the material that's going out is in good shape because it's been dry. I always wondered why we never started paving before the middle of July, and I thought it had something to do with the budget. And it actually, our guys like to wait till the weather dries up, because the material that they use to make asphalt piled up at Tilcon sits out in the rain in the spring and it's wet, and then they don't get as many years out of it as they should, because you start to
Pay for
get
the
shade,
water.
yeah, you get moisture stripping out of it. The other thing is that our highway superintendent, Bob Dibble, is part of a task force with the Western Connecticut Council of Governments that's working with state highway officials and Tilcon to improve the mix, because there's some concerns about the durability of what they're putting out on the roads.
Mm.
They feel that they should get a minimum of 20 years out of it, and they're starting to see major deterioration after 10 to 12 years, and that's not acceptable. So they're all getting together and working with the contractors to try to come up with something that's better. Turns out that there are different mixes that you use on a high-speed expressway that's flat versus windy hills that retain more moisture. So Tilcon likes to make one mix, and they like to make what the state wants, but there has to be some changes made so that we're not getting the short end of the stick. So that's really it for tonight. You guys have any questions? Anything to add?
I'd like to add something to the agenda.
Oh, okay.
The solution of, for dissolving the religious committee.
Oh, you'd like to officially,
Yeah,
okay,
thank them for their work.
all right.
I'd make a motion to add that to the agenda.
All right, so we'll put that under item number 5. I'll second that motion. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Okay. All right, so moving on to item number 1, consideration of refunds as a result of overpayment of taxes. I'll put a motion on the floor to authorize refunds in the amount of $1,528.37.
Second that motion.
Okay, so this is pretty routine. Any questions? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that carries. Consideration of creating a sustainable CT ad hoc committee. Let me put the motion on the floor, then I'll tell you what we have here. I'm gonna make a motion that we create a sustainable CT ad hoc committee that will consist of no more than 5 and no less than 3 individuals to help the community to be a thriving, resilient, collaborative, and forward-looking community. What this is, I gave you some information here, which is off the Sustainable CT website. This is a voluntary certification thing, doesn't cost anything. Basically, you get points for doing things like having an energy improvement plan, education for your residents about proper recycling. We get points for having the solar farm. We get points for having an economic development commission and tying economic development into the community. And we've actually already registered with this thing. Again, this is a non-monetary type of a thing. But the staff here at Town Hall just doesn't have enough time to follow up on this. They would also advise the community on, well, there was something that I was thinking of a couple of months ago. I wanted to form something called BEAT, which stands for Bethel Environmental Action Team. And that would be just some volunteers to help people sort materials at the transfer station, like for community service, like when you get high school kids who need to get their hours in for community services, help organize Earth Day, things like that. So my idea was just to make this an ad hoc committee of volunteers. I've already had people approach me and who have read about Sustainable CT through other venues and asked if we had a committee that they wanted to join. So it's really kind of a very easy thing to do. So I'll put a motion on the floor that we create the Sustainable CT ad hoc committee with up to 5 individuals.
Second.
Okay, any questions?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
you said points. What do we do with the points? I've heard so many points programs. My life has got points.
Yeah, sure.
I never find out what happens to those points.
Time you try to collect them.
It's not too dissimilar to this. This is from Connecticut Green Bank. And so this is we made the entry level for clean energy communities. And this was really because we had, and we actually, we're probably ready to go to the silver level on this. But what happens is if you get these points, you get a certification, we get to put a plaque up in the lobby that says we're a sustainable community. But then there are grant monies so we could actually get money to help us do more of this stuff, like to help with recycling and things. So because we reached the bronze level with Green Bank, Connecticut, that's when we got the, what was it, the 10,000 light bulb, I think it was $10,000 worth of free light bulbs, and we had the light bulb thing. So that's what this thing would do for us. We could earn grant monies too.
There's something residual, in other
Yes,
words.
correct. So, that's what that is. Any other questions? All right, so we have a motion on the floor to create the Sustainable CT Committee. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries.
Is this available, have you got people in mind, or?
Yeah, we've had a couple of, I think 2 people have reached out to me so far.
And you want 5?
Yeah. We'll put a blurb on the town website and the town Facebook page and attract some people for that.
Okay.
Item number 3, consideration of disposition of a 1996 fire/police car. So Tom, this is, you wanna explain what this is?
Right, so Stony Hill Fire acquired a Captain Settergren's and Captain O'Hara's old captain's car many, many years ago. I don't even know when we got it. It might have been 10 years ago. For the fire department to use for training when firefighters have to go out of town for training and administrative things. So we've had it forever. It's got, I think, close to last I checked was over 116,000 miles. It's been sitting out back for about a year now because it's had some transmission issues. It's got a electrical issue where the battery always dies. The rear main seal is leaking on it. So we were able to acquire a used Expedition from the police department 2 years ago that they were getting rid of. So we kind of replaced with that, and it just kind of has been sitting there out of service and taking up space. So we wanted to get the proper permission to get rid of it, and our goal was, we had a couple people a couple years ago maybe interested in buying it for a couple $100, but they just, they never really came around to wanting to do something like that. So, I mean, it really has no value, and we're gonna just use it for training, use it with the jaws of life, or, cutting it up and prying the doors open, and then we usually burn it. We do a few different training sessions out of it, and then we call Dells up and they just come and take it away, and
We get scrap value.
yeah, and that's the end of it, so that's what we're hoping to do with it.
Is the bar light any good? Can you
No,
salvage
it's
the
an
bar-
old strobe
No.
light, they don't even, And we took the radios out and put them in the other vehicle,
Okay,
so.
all right. Just trying to salvage something.
Yeah.
So it's
we
really
took out-
worth about $35 to $50.
Probably, yeah.
Now, as long as we get some money for it, I'm taking anything I
Yeah,
can.
like Dell's, I think, maybe they give us $50, I think, for it.
All right, so I'll put a motion on the floor that we dedicate the
1996,
1996 Ford Crown Vic.
it's 24 years old.
You didn't bring the VIN number, did you?
I
Just
got the title
Okay.
upstairs.
That we dedicate this for fire department training and disposal as scrap. Okay,
Second.
all right. Any other questions?
No.
Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
That carries. Item number 4, consideration of approval of the replacement of the scale at the transfer station. The 18-year-old scale is finally rotted, and the scale part cannot be fixed. You might remember that about 5 or 6 years ago, we replaced the electronic unit that sits inside the booth. So, and that's still working fine, that does not need to be replaced. But the only question is the only issue is that we have to stay with Mettler Toledo to make it compatible. Otherwise, we'd have to replace the whole thing, it would be more, but this has been a very good scale. This is the same brand that just lasted for 18 years, so. I'm gonna make a motion that we authorize the purchase of a floor scale number 2256-304 SS, a 48-inch by 48-inch, with installation and service in an amount not to exceed $8,568.48, and that the funding come from the capital non-recurring fund, and forward to Board of Finance for their approval at their next meeting.
Second.
Okay, any other questions?
No.
Okay, those in
No,
favor?
I do have a question.
Oh, yeah.
Why wouldn't it just come out, I know there's no money in it, but why wouldn't it just come out of the dump? Isn't there a fund for the dump?
Well, it could, I'll tell you what.
Operations.
Yeah, there
I
is.
mean, it's in the hole anyway, but,
Yeah, it should be
Well-
going to that account.
Actually, I think it's in a positive, yeah, actually it should. I'm gonna strike the CNR, because that way we can get this thing done, that's
Yeah.
fine.
okay.
Okay, all right. So I amended my motion, you
I'll
still
amend my
second it, right?
second.
Okay. All right, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, good, that carries.
Can somebody explain to me what you just said? I'm not what you said. Thank you.
We're gonna replace the scale at the transfer station.
No, that I understand. I'm
But
talking about
to the
the
transfer
motion.
It's just-
station account.
We're just gonna put it in the maintenance account for the transfer station. Okay, last item, item number 5, dissolution of the holiday display committee. Wanna make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we disband the religious display committee, send them a letter of thank you for their participation. I don't think we're gonna go anywhere else with it right now.
Maybe.
Oh,
We don't know.
Uh,
We don't know. I think
Well-
it's too soon, Rich.
Well, I think they had a hard time coming to consensus. I think it's the Board of Selectmen's responsibility
Oh, I
to
agree.
make the decision on it.
I agree.
yeah. So, by the way, I'll second that. Okay.
And that's one of my reasons for,
Well, we should probably go through the list of ad hoc committees that are still out there anyway, because there's, the transfer station ad hoc is out there, they haven't met in years. Yeah. Golf and
I
whatever.
think we did the golf. But
Actually,
anyway,
I don't think we did golf, because that's in an ordinance.
Yeah, it's in the charter.
Yeah.
yeah, but that might have gotten taken out of the charter last time around.
Oh.
I don't know. We'd have to,
It's not part of the charter.
It's not part of
Not
the
part
charter.
It's a
Charter.
code. It's
Code?
like an ordinance. And in order to do that, you have to have a public hearing, it has to be advertised, et cetera.
well, we probably should look at them all to see if there's anything else that needs
Oh,
to be.
sure there are.
Okay.
Would you like to do that in your spare time? Mary?
Why not?
Yeah, no, I meant, just,
Okay, well, we have a motion on the floor, those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
No,
You're-
I wanna wait until after this October 1st or November 30th, or whatever.
Okay, well, that was a 2-to-1 vote. Thank you very much. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Those in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. Tell me as soon as we're off the air.